Ho opened his eyes slowly. The morning light came through the thin curtains of his small apartment. He could hear the sounds of the city outside, cars moving, people talking, the normal sounds of another day. He did not want to get up. His body was tired from working at the factory. His muscles hurt. His back was sore. But he knew he had to move soon. Work would not wait for him. Then he felt something strange. There was warmth beside him. Something was in his bed. Something that had not been there when he fell asleep. Ho turned his head slowly. His heart stopped for a moment. A woman lay next to him, but she was not a normal woman. Her skin was pale like fresh snow. Her hair was long and black like the night sky. Her face was beautiful in a way that did not seem real. And when his movement woke her, she opened her eyes. They were red, deep red like blood. Ho screamed and fell out of the bed. He hit the floor hard and crawled backward until his back touched the wall. His heart was beating so fast he thought it might break out of his chest. The woman sat up slowly. She looked at him with those red eyes. There was no emotion on her face. No surprise, no fear, nothing. "You are awake," she said. Her voice was soft and cold like winter wind. "Who are you?" Ho shouted. His voice was shaking. "How did you get in here? What are you?" The woman tilted her head to the side. She studied him like he was something interesting, something she had never seen before. "I am," she said. "I came through your window, and I am not human." Ho looked at his window. It was closed, locked from the inside. There was no way anyone could come through it. "That is impossible," he said. Stood up from the bed. She moved without making any sound. It was like watching smoke move through the air. She walked toward him, and Ho pressed himself harder against the wall. "Please," he said, "please do not hurt me." Stopped, she looked at him with something that might have been curiosity, or maybe confusion. It was hard to tell. "You beg," she said. "Interesting. Most creatures fight when they are afraid. They do not beg." "What do you want from me?" Ho asked. Was quiet for a moment, then she spoke. "I need blood," she said. "I am what your people would call a vampire, but I am not from your world. I come from a planet far away. My people are called We have traveled across the stars for thousands of years. We feed on blood to survive." Ho felt his body go cold. A vampire, an alien vampire. This had to be a dream, a nightmare. He closed his eyes and opened them again, but was still there. "Your blood," continued, "human blood. We have heard stories about it. They say it is different from all other blood in the galaxy. Some say it is poison. Some say it is medicine. No one knows for certain. We have never found humans before." "And you want to drink my blood?" Ho asked. His voice was barely a whisper. "Yes," said. "I chose your home randomly. I was hungry. I was dying. I have not fed in many weeks. I came here to drink your blood and leave, but then something strange happened." She paused. Her red eyes looked troubled. "I could not do it," she said. "I watched you sleep. I put my mouth close to your neck, but I could not bite. Something stopped me. I do not understand what." Ho did not know what to say. This alien creature had come to kill him, to drink his blood like an animal, but she did not do it. Why? "So what now?" he asked. "Are you going to kill me?" Shook her head slowly. "I do not know what I am going to do. I have never felt this before. This hesitation. My people do not hesitate. We do not feel doubt. We simply act." She looked at her own hands like they belonged to someone else. "There is something different about you," she said. "About your blood, I can smell it. It calls to me in a way I cannot explain, but it also makes me afraid." Ho stood up slowly. His legs were shaking, but something in his voice made him less afraid. She sounded lost, confused, almost vulnerable. "You are afraid of my blood?" he asked. "I am afraid of what it might do to me," said. "The stories say that human blood changes us, makes us into something we are not. My people have survived for millions of years because we feel nothing. No love, no hate, no fear. We are perfect hunters because we have no emotions to make us weak." She looked at him with those red eyes. "But standing here with you, I feel something. It is small, like a tiny fire in my chest. I do not know what it is, but it frightens me." Ho took a careful step toward her. He did not know why. Maybe he was crazy. Maybe his fear had broken his brain. But he could see that this creature was not going to hurt him, at least not right now. "I think that feeling is called being human," he said quietly. Looked at him. For the first time her face showed something. It was small, just a tiny crack in her cold expression, but it was there. "Human," she repeated. "Is that what this is?" Ho nodded. "We feel things all the time: fear, hope, sadness, joy. It is part of being alive." "It is terrible," said. "How do you survive like this?" Ho laughed. It was a strange sound in this strange moment, but he could not help it. "We just do," he said. "We feel everything and we just keep going." Was quiet for a long time. She stood in the middle of his small apartment, this beautiful alien creature from the stars, and she looked more lost than anyone Ho had ever seen. "I am hungry," she finally said. "I need blood or I will die, but I cannot force myself to take yours. I do not understand why." Ho took a deep breath. What he was about to do was crazy. He knew it was crazy. But looking at this lost creature who had traveled across the stars only to find herself afraid for the first time in her long life, he could not just let her die. "What if I gave it to you?" he asked. "What if I let you drink just a little, enough to keep you alive?" His eyes widened. It was the most emotion she had shown since she arrived. "You would do that?" she asked. "After I came here to kill you?" Ho shrugged. "You did not kill me, and you look like you need help. Where I come from, we help people who need it, even if they are scary alien vampires." Something changed in his face. That tiny crack grew a little bigger, and for just a moment, Ho thought he saw something that looked almost like gratitude. "You are strange," said, "very strange." "So are you," Ho replied. "I guess we are both strange together." He held out his arm to her. His hand was shaking, his heart was pounding, but he did not pull back. Looked at his arm, then she looked at his face, and slowly, carefully, like she was afraid of breaking something precious, she took his hand in hers. Her touch was cold, but somehow it did not feel wrong. "Thank you," she whispered, and those two simple words carried more weight than anything Ho had ever heard. The alien vampire woman who had come to kill him was about to taste human blood for the first time, and nothing would ever be the same again. Held Ho's arm in her cold hands. She could feel his pulse under the skin. It was fast and strong, like a small drum beating just for her. The smell of his blood filled her senses. It was unlike anything she had ever experienced in her long life. "Are you sure?" she asked. Her voice was barely a whisper. Ho nodded. His face was pale with fear, but his eyes were steady. "Just do not take too much," he said. "I have work tomorrow." Almost smiled. Almost. This human was making jokes while offering his blood to an alien predator. Her people would never understand such behavior. They would call it foolish, weak. But standing here with Ho, it did not feel weak at all. It felt brave. She lifted his wrist to her mouth. Her fangs grew longer, sliding out from her gums like sharp needles. She saw Ho's eyes go wide, but he did not pull away. "This might hurt," she said. "I know," he replied. Bit down gently. Her fangs broke through his skin, and the first drop of human blood touched her tongue. The world exploded. Colors became brighter. Sounds became clearer. She could feel the air against her skin like it was touching her for the first time. Everything was more real than it had ever been. But that was not the strangest part. The strangest part was the feelings. They rushed through her like a river breaking through a dam. Joy and sadness and fear and hope, all mixed together in a storm that threatened to tear her apart. She had lived for 500 years without feeling anything. Now she felt everything at once. And then she noticed something else. There was a wound on her arm, A deep cut she had gotten 3 days ago in a fight. It had not healed because she had not fed. But now, as Ho's blood flowed through her body, she watched the wound close. The skin grew back together like it had never been damaged. In seconds, the wound was gone. Pulled back from Ho's wrist, she was breathing hard, which was strange because her kind did not need to breathe. Her whole body was shaking. "What happened?" Ho asked. He was holding his wrist where 2 small holes marked her bite. "Your face, you look different." Touched her own cheek. It was warm. For the first time in centuries, her skin was warm. "Your blood," she said. Her voice was trembling. "It healed me completely, and it made me feel." She could not finish the sentence. There were no words in any language she knew to describe what she was experiencing. Ho found a small towel and wrapped it around his wrist. The bleeding had already stopped. Her bite had been clean and careful. "Are you okay?" he asked. Laughed. It was a strange sound, rusty and broken, like a machine that had not been used in too long. She had not laughed in 300 years. "I do not know," she admitted. "I do not know anything anymore." She sat down on the edge of his bed. Her legs would not hold her up. Ho sat down next to her, keeping some distance between them but close enough to show he was not afraid anymore. "Tell me about your people," he said. "Tell me why this is so strange for you." Was quiet for a moment, then she began to speak. "They were not always like this," she said. "Long ago we were like you. We loved and hated and feared. We built families and cities and dreams. But then our sun began to die. Our planet grew cold and dark. We had to change to survive." She looked at her hands. They were still trembling. "We learned to feed on blood instead of food. We learned to live in the darkness instead of the light. And slowly, over thousands of years, we lost our emotions. They became unnecessary, distracting. Our ancestors cut them away like diseased flesh." "That sounds terrible," Ho said. "It was practical," replied. "Without emotions, we became perfect. We never fought each other. We never made mistakes because of love or anger. We spread across the galaxy like shadows, taking what we needed to survive. We became the most successful species in 100 star systems." "But you were not happy," Ho said. Looked at him. "We did not know what happy meant. We did not know what anything meant. We simply existed. We fed and we traveled and we continued. There was no joy in it, but there was no pain either." She touched her chest where she could feel something beating, not her heart. Her people's hearts had stopped working long ago, but something else, something new. "Until now," she whispered. Ho leaned a little closer. "What does it feel like?" "Like being born," said. "Like waking up from a dream that lasted 500 years. I can see colors I never saw before. I can hear music in your breathing. I can feel the softness of your blanket and the hardness of your floor. Everything is so much." A tear rolled down her cheek. She touched it with her finger and looked at it with wonder. "I have not cried since I was a child," she said. "I did not think I could anymore." Ho did something that surprised both of them. He reached out and took her hand. His warm fingers wrapped around her cold ones. "It is okay," he said. "Crying is okay, feeling is okay. It does not make you weak." Looked at their joined hands. His touch sent little sparks through her skin. She did not understand why. "There is something else," she said. "Something I must tell you." Ho waited. When a drinks blood from a living creature, sometimes a bond forms. It is rare. It only happens when the blood is special, when it matches something inside us that we did not know existed. She looked into his eyes. "I think such a bond has formed between us. I can feel you now, inside my mind, like a warm light that I cannot turn off." Ho's face went pale again. "What does that mean?" "It means I cannot leave you," said. "Even if I wanted to, I could not go far. The bond would pull me back. And if you died," she paused, "I would die too." "Oh," Ho said quietly. It was all he could say. "I am sorry," said. "I did not choose this. I did not know this would happen. Your blood is more powerful than anything I have ever encountered. It has changed me in ways I cannot undo." Ho was quiet for a long time. He sat there holding her hand, looking at the floor, thinking thoughts she could not read even with their new bond. Finally, he spoke. "My life was not very exciting before today," he said. "I wake up, I go to work, I come home, I sleep. Every day the same. I have no family, few friends. I always thought I would live and die alone in this small apartment." He looked at her with a small smile. "And then you showed up, an alien vampire from the stars. You came to kill me, but instead you changed both our lives forever. Now we are bonded, stuck together. And you know what?" "What?" asked. "I do not mind," Ho said. "At least now things will be interesting." Stared at him. This human, this simple factory worker from a small planet in a forgotten corner of the galaxy, had just accepted his fate with a smile. Her people would call him insane. They would call him foolish and stupid and weak. But her people were wrong. This was not weakness. This was something else. Something her people had forgotten long ago. Something that Ho's blood was helping her remember. It was hope. "You really are strange," she said. "You keep saying that," Ho replied. "But look around. I have an alien vampire woman in my apartment who is now bonded to me forever. I think the word you are looking for is not strange. I think the word is lucky." And for the first time in 500 years smiled. It was small and awkward and imperfect, but it was real. She was alive, truly alive, and she had this strange human to thank for it. Whatever came next, they would face it together, because now neither of them had any other choice. 3 days passed since arrived in Ho's life. 3 strange and wonderful days. She stayed in his apartment while he went to work. She said the sunlight did not kill her kind like in human stories, but it made them weak and uncomfortable. So she waited in the darkness, learning about human things from his books and his small television. When Ho came home each evening, she would ask him questions. Why did humans eat cooked food when raw food had more nutrients? Why did they sleep at night when the darkness was so beautiful? Why did they waste time on things like music and art when those things served no practical purpose? Ho tried to explain, but it was hard. How do you explain beauty to someone who has never felt it? How do you describe love to someone who has forgotten what it means? But slowly, day by day, began to understand. The human blood inside her was changing her in ways she could not stop. She found herself humming songs she heard on the television. She found herself looking at the sunset through the window and thinking it was pretty. She found herself wanting to be near Ho, not just because of their bond, but because he made her feel safe. On the 4th night, everything changed. Ho had just returned from work. He was tired and his back was hurting, was sitting on the couch, watching a cooking show with great interest. She had become fascinated with human food even though she could not eat it. "You should rest," she said when he walked in. "You work too hard." "I have to work hard," Ho replied. "I have no choice." Opened her mouth to say something, but then she stopped. Her whole body went stiff. Her red eyes grew wide with fear. "What is wrong?" Ho asked. "They are here," whispered. "Others of my kind, I can feel them." Before Ho could respond, the window exploded inward. Glass flew everywhere. Ho dove to the floor and covered his head. When he looked up, 3 figures stood in his apartment. They were like but also different. Their skin was pale, their eyes were red, but their faces showed nothing. No emotion, no expression. They were like statues carved from ice. The tallest one said, his voice was flat and empty, "We have been searching for you." Stood up slowly. She moved to put herself between Ho and the newcomers. She said, "How did you find me?" "We followed your scent," replied. "It has changed, it is. Wrong now, contaminated." The other 2 moved to the sides, surrounding them. One was a female with hair as white as snow. The other was a male who was missing one eye. "This is the human," the female said. She looked at Ho like he was an insect. "He is the source of your contamination." "Please," said. There was something in her voice that Ho had never heard before, desperation. "You do not understand, his blood is not poison, it is a cure." "A cure?" the one-eyed male laughed. It was an ugly sound with no joy in it. "Look at yourself, you are shaking. Your face is twisted with emotion. You have become weak, broken. There is no cure in that." "Shut up," snapped. "You do not know what you are talking about." All three went still. They stared at with something that might have been shock if they could feel such things. "You raised your voice," said slowly. "You displayed anger. The contamination is worse than we thought." He turned his empty eyes to Ho. "We will take the human. His blood will be studied. If it can be controlled, it will be used to feed our people for generations. If it cannot be controlled, he will be destroyed." "No," said. The word hung in the air like a blade. Tilted his head. "No, you refuse a direct order from your blood family." "Yes," said. "I refuse." "Then you are lost to us," said. "The contamination has taken your mind. We must cure you." She moved toward with impossible speed, but was ready. She caught his arm and threw her across the room, crashed through the wall into the kitchen. Ho watched with wide eyes. He had known was strong, but seeing her fight was something else. She moved like water, flowing from one attack to the next without pause. But it was 3 against 1. Grabbed her from behind while attacked from the front. Fought hard, but they were too strong. They forced her to her knees. "Stop fighting," said. "You cannot win." Looked at Ho. Her red eyes were filled with something he had never seen before. Fear, not for herself, for him. "Run," she said. "Please run." But Ho did not run. Instead, he stood up. His legs were shaking. His heart was pounding so hard he could hear it in his ears, but he did not run. "Let her go," he said. All three turned to look at him. Their eyes showed nothing, but somehow Ho knew they were surprised. "The human speaks," said. "How amusing." "Let her go," Ho repeated. "She is not your property, she is not your prisoner. She is her own person and she does not want to go with you." Walked toward him slowly. He stopped so close that Ho could feel the coldness coming off his body. "You are nothing," said. "A small creature from a small planet. You live for a few decades and then you die. What gives you the right to speak to us?" Ho swallowed his fear. "I am her friend," he said. "That gives me the right." Something flickered in his dead eyes. "Friend? The do not have friends. We have blood families and we have prey, nothing else." "Then maybe that is why you are dying," Ho said. The words came out before he could stop them. He did not know where they came from, but he knew they were true. Went very still. "What did you say?" "Told me about your people," Ho continued. His voice was getting stronger. "She told me how you cut away your emotions to survive, how you became perfect hunters, but look at you. You travel across the galaxy, but you have no home. You live for thousands of years, but you have no purpose. You can do anything, but you want nothing." He looked at, then back at. "That is not surviving," Ho said. "That is just existing, and there is a difference." The room was silent. Even, who had climbed out of the broken kitchen wall, stood frozen. "You know nothing about us," said, but there was something in his voice now, something small and uncertain. "Maybe not," Ho admitted. "But I know about. I have watched her change over the past 3 days. I have seen her smile for the first time in centuries. I have seen her cry. I have seen her care about something besides blood and survival." He took a step closer too. It was the bravest thing he had ever done. "She is not contaminated," Ho said. "She is healed. And if you were smart, you would ask her how it feels instead of trying to take it away." Stared at him for a long moment. Then he looked at. "Is this true?" he asked. "Do you truly feel things?" Pulled herself free from his grip. He let her go without fighting. "Yes," she said. "I feel everything now. It is overwhelming and confusing and sometimes painful." But she stepped toward her blood brother. It is also wonderful. I had forgotten what it meant to be alive. This human, this small creature from a small planet, he reminded me, was quiet and waited for his decision. Finally, he spoke. "We will leave," he said, "for now, but this is not over. The others will hear about this human and his blood. They will come, and they will not be as curious as I am." He turned and walked toward the broken window, and followed. At the window, stopped and looked back at Ho. "You are either the bravest creature I have ever met," he said, "or the most foolish. I have not decided which." Then they were gone, disappearing into the night like shadows. Ran to Ho and pulled him into her arms. She was shaking. "You idiot," she said. "You beautiful, brave, stupid idiot, you could have died." Ho hugged her back. "But I did not die," he said, "and neither did you. That is what matters." Held him, and in that moment, standing in his destroyed apartment with glass everywhere and a hole in his wall, Ho realized something important. He was not alone anymore, and that was worth any danger that might come. 2 weeks passed after the attack. Ho fixed his window and his wall with money he did not really have. His landlord asked questions, and Ho made up a story about a gas explosion. The landlord did not believe him, but the repairs were paid for, so he said nothing more. Became more human every day. She learned to cook food even though she could not eat it. She said she liked the smells and the colors and the way Ho's face lit up when he tasted something good. She learned to laugh at jokes and cry at sad movies and get angry when things were unfair. But she also became weaker. Her kind fed every few weeks. Now she needed blood every few days. Ho gave what he could, but he was only human. His body could only make so much blood. "You are getting pale," said one evening. She was looking at him with worried eyes. "I am taking too much from you." "I am fine," Ho said, but he knew she was right. He was tired all the time. His body ached more than usual. Sometimes he felt dizzy when he stood up too fast. "This cannot continue," said. "The bond between us is keeping me alive, but it is killing you slowly. I need to find another way." "What other way?" Ho asked. "You said my blood is special. You said other blood does not work the same." Was quiet for a moment. Then she sat down next to him on the couch. "There is something I have not told you," she said. "Something about what your blood really does." Ho felt a chill run down his spine. "What is it?" Took his hand in hers. Her skin was warmer now than when they first met. The human blood had changed even that. "Human blood does not just heal us," she said. "It does not just make us feel emotions. It does something much more important." She looked into his eyes. "It makes us whole again." Ho did not understand. "What do you mean?" "Long ago, before my people cut away our emotions, we were different," explained. "We had souls, real souls like humans do. We could love and dream and create. We built beautiful things. We wrote poetry and made music and fell in love under the light of dying stars." Her grip on his hand tightened. "But when we changed ourselves to survive, we did not just remove emotions. We removed part of our souls. We became empty inside, hollow. We could live forever, but we were never really alive." Ho thought about this. It explained so much about their empty eyes, their flat voices, the way they moved through the universe like ghosts. "And my blood brings your souls back?" he asked. "Not brings back," said, "creates new. Human blood, your blood, it builds something new inside us. A piece of what you are becomes a piece of what we are. The emotions I feel now are not emotions. They are human emotions, your emotions." Ho sat back trying to understand. "So when you feel happy or sad?" "I feel it the way you would feel it," finished. "Your blood has made me partly human, and that is why I need so much of it. My body is trying to complete the transformation. It is trying to give me a whole soul." "Is that bad?" Ho asked. Smiled sadly. "It is wonderful, but it is also dangerous. If my people learn the truth about human blood, they will not be afraid of it. They will want it, all of it. Every human on this planet would become a source to be drained. The weight of her words hit Ho like a punch to the stomach. He thought about his neighbors. The children who played in the street outside his window, all of them in danger because of what was in their veins. "We have to stop them," he said. How asked. "There are millions of across the galaxy. If they decide to come here, nothing can stop them. Humans are strong, but you are not strong enough to fight my kind." Ho stood up and walked to the window. The city spread out before him, full of lights and life, full of people who had no idea that their world had changed forever. The night came through his window. "There has to be a way," he said. "There might be," said quietly. Ho turned to look at her. "What way?" Looked down at her hands. Said he was curious. He said he wanted to know what I was feeling. What if that curiosity is not just his? What if others feel the same way? What if they are tired of being empty? "You think they might want to change?" Ho asked. "I think some of them might," said. "Living forever without feeling anything is not a gift. It is a prison. My people built that prison themselves, but that does not mean they want to stay in it." She stood up and walked to him. "What if we did not fight them? What if we offered them something better? What if we showed them what they could become?" Ho thought about the tiny flicker of something in his dead eyes when talked about her emotions, about the way he had chosen to leave instead of fight. "You think they would listen?" he asked. "I do not know," admitted. "But I know that fear and fighting will not save humanity. There are too many of us and too few of you. The only way humans survive is if they choose to let them survive." "And they would only choose that if they had something to gain," Ho said. Nodded. "My people have spent millions of years searching for meaning. They have conquered worlds and built empires and gathered power beyond imagination. But none of it filled the emptiness inside them. None of it made them feel alive." She put her hand on his chest, over his heart. "But this does," she said. "You do. Your blood, your kindness, your strange human way of caring about things that do not benefit you. That is what we have been searching for. We just did not know it." Ho covered her hand with his own. "So what do we do?" "We wait," said. "We'll tell others about what he saw, about me, about you, about what human blood really does. Some will be afraid, some will be angry, but some will be curious. And those are the ones who might save both our peoples." "That is a lot of hope to put in creatures who do not feel anything," Ho said. Smiled. "They feel more than they admit. I know because I was one of them. Deep inside every is a small voice that wonders what it would be like to feel again. Most of them ignore that voice. But when they see what I have become, they will not be able to ignore it anymore." Ho looked out the window again. The sun was starting to rise, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. Another day was beginning. "You know," he said, "when I woke up with an alien vampire in my bed, I thought my life was over. I thought you were going to kill me." "I almost did," reminded him. "But you did not," Ho said. "And now here we are talking about saving the world, saving two worlds really, humans and—" He laughed softly. "My life really has gotten more interesting," he said. Leaned against him as they watched the sunrise together. The light touched her skin, and for the first time it did not make her feel weak. It made her feel warm. "Whatever happens next," she said, "I am glad I found you. I am glad I did not drink your blood that first night. I am glad you offered it to me freely instead. That choice, that small act of kindness, it might have changed the future of two entire species." Ho put his arm around her. "Or it might have just saved one lost vampire who needed a friend." Smiled and closed her eyes. The warmth of the sun and the warmth of Ho surrounded her, and she felt something she had never felt before. Peace. Whatever came next, she was ready for it. Because for the first time in 500 years, she had something worth fighting for. She had hope. And she had Ho. That was enough. 1 month after crashed into his life, Ho woke up to find her standing at the window. She was staring at the stars. They are coming, she said without turning around. I can feel them. Ho got out of bed and stood beside her. The night sky was clear, and the stars sparkled like diamonds scattered across black velvet. How many? He asked. Many, said. More than I expected. Word has spread faster than I thought. Ho's heart began to race. Are they coming to attack? Was quiet for a moment, then she shook her head. I do not think so, she said. The feeling I get from them is not anger or hunger. It is something else, something I have not felt from my kind in a very long time. What? Finally turned to look at him. Her red eyes were soft in the moonlight. Longing, she said. They came 3 nights later. Ho counted 12 ships that landed in the empty field outside the city. They were not like spaceships in movies. They were smooth and dark, almost invisible against the night sky. If he had not known they were there, he never would have seen them. Walked out to meet them. Ho walked beside her. He was terrified, but he refused to let her face this alone. The ships opened and poured out. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds. They stood in silent rows, their pale faces turned toward. Stepped forward from the crowd. He looked different than before. There was something in his eyes that had not been there the last time they met. A tiny spark of light in all that darkness. He said, We have come. I see that, replied. Why? Looked at the behind him, then back at. We heard what you told me, about feeling emotions again, about being alive again. We did not believe it at first. The council called it contamination. They said you were sick and needed to be healed. He paused. But then others started talking. They whispered about what it might be like to feel something after so long. They remembered things from before the change. Small things, the smell of flowers, the taste of fruit, the feeling of another person's hand in theirs. Ho watched the as spoke. They were all looking at with the same strange expression. It was not quite hope, but it was close. It was the face of people standing at the edge of something new and terrifying and wonderful. The council wants you destroyed, continued. They want the human captured and studied. They believe human blood is too dangerous to be allowed to spread. Tensed, Ho felt her hand find his. But we disagree, said. We are tired of emptiness, tired of traveling through the stars without purpose, tired of living forever while feeling nothing. He took a step closer. We want what you have. We want to feel again, even if it is painful, even if it makes us weak. We want to be alive. Squeezed Ho's hand so tight it almost hurt. When she spoke, her voice was thick with emotion. You know what this means, she said. If you choose this path, there is no going back. The feelings will not stop. The pain will not stop. You will have to live with everything you have been hiding from for millions of years. We know, said. And the council will call you traitors. They will hunt you like they hunted me. We know that too. Looked at all the standing in the field, all those empty faces waiting for something to fill them. Why are you choosing this? She asked. Why now? Smiled. It was awkward and strange, like a muscle that had forgotten how to work, but it was real. Because of you, he said. Because of the human. When he stood up to me in that small apartment, when he called me out for existing instead of living, something inside me woke up. Something I thought was dead. He looked at Ho. You were right, he said. We were not surviving, we were just existing, and existing is not enough anymore. Ho did not know what to say. He was just a factory worker from a small city. He was nobody special. But somehow, his words had started something that was changing an entire species. Stepped forward. She looked at her people, her blood family, and she made a choice. If you truly want this, she said, then I will help you, but we do it my way. No forcing humans to give blood. No treating them as cattle. The gift must be given freely, the way Ho gave it to me. Only then does it truly work. Freely given? Asked. She had stepped out from the crowd, her white hair glowing in the moonlight. Why would humans give us anything? We are monsters to them. Smiled. Humans are strange creatures, she said. They help those who need help. They show kindness to strangers. They offer their hand even to those who have hurt them. She looked at Ho with so much love in her eyes that it took his breath away. That is why they are special, she said. That is why their blood can heal us, because they have something we lost long ago, something we are only now starting to understand. What is that? Asked. Compassion, said. The ability to care about others more than yourself, to give without expecting anything in return, to love even when it hurts. She turned back to the crowd. That is what human blood really gives us, not just emotions, not just feelings. It gives us the ability to care, and once you have that, everything else follows. They were silent. They looked at each other, then at Ho, the tiny human who had started all of this just by being kind to a monster who did not deserve it. Stepped forward, he dropped to one knee before. Then teach us, he said. Show us how to be alive again. One by one, the other knelt. All the others whose names Ho did not know. They knelt in the field under the stars and asked for something they had given up millions of years ago. A second chance. Looked at Ho. Tears were running down her cheeks. Are you ready for this? She asked. This is going to change everything, your planet, your people, the whole galaxy. Ho thought about his small apartment, his boring job, his empty life before fell into it. He thought about how everything had changed because he made one choice to help instead of hurt. I was ready the moment I offered you my arm, he said. Whatever comes next, we face it together. Smiled through her tears. She pulled him into a kiss, right there in front of all the stars and all the possibilities of the future. When they finally pulled apart, Ho looked at the sea of alien faces watching them. Well, he said, I guess we should get started. We have a lot of work to do. And they did. It took years. There were setbacks and failures and moments when everything seemed impossible. The council sent hunters. Wars were fought. Lives were lost on both sides. But slowly things changed. Who tasted freely given human blood became something new. Not human. Not something in between. They called themselves the Awakened, and they spread across the galaxy carrying a message of hope and change. And at the center of it all were Ho, the alien vampire and the factory worker, the monster and the man who refused to see her that way. They spent their days teaching the Awakened how to feel, how to care, how to be alive in a universe that was cold and dark and often cruel. And every night, they slept side by side in a small bed, in a small apartment, on a small planet that had somehow changed everything. Ho had been right about one thing. His life had definitely gotten more interesting. And he would not have it any other way.